Hello to all my friends out there. Hi, you guys. Well, I thought you guys might like to see a different picture today. This is a pencil on paper picture that I bought one time at a thrift store. It is called, I can never remember. Let's see if I can show you. This is actually a pretty nice piece of work of art. It is Edward Kindness, October 29th, 1968, Harry. Everybody should have one of these, don't you think? Sometimes I say I'm going to sell it and my son says no, so you know, we're not selling it. So we'll go into merchandise for selling in a minute. And why that might be a good idea. Is Harry showing? Yes. Okay, you know, I've been griping about the heat. Today I was walking and I came back and it was 110 in my car. So what we have is we have Las Vegas weather at San Diego prices. I think that is such a ripoff. Okay, this video is people leaving big cities, deflation, inflation, and hyperinflation. Are we there yet? And so the answer to all of these questions is yes. I'm very hot and I'm very sweaty. This is a wood carving. I don't sell this too cheap, even though it has a tiny defect up here, because this is probably some kind of, somebody bought this back from a vacation, but it just so happens to look really, really pretty in a garden. So that's kind of stuff I sell at the swap meet, and I will be going back. And so I have some tea, and that's a very cheap beverage too. Oh, my straw is frozen in there. Okay, I want to mention this is a wood carving from Kenya. If you can get these cheap, they're very pretty on a garden, and these sell for about $20. So if you can find those, you'll be able to sell those if you start a little resale business. Oh, wow, you guys, I see smoke, and if you think it's all, okay. Uh-oh, trouble, trouble. Look at this, you guys. What is that? There's a fire somewhere, and a pretty big fire. It's all the way around. Not sure. This does not surprise me. We had two factors, and you can see the sun is so unpleasant. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so it was to be expected. And where the fires really like to burn, that one looks like it might be coming from over by maybe Rancho San Diego. Okay, so that's not good. Okay, so now people leaving the cities. One of the cities they say people are leaving is New York City, but this statistic might be a little off, because the people with money generally leave the city and, you know, go to like Florida in the summer because it's so blasted hot there, like here. Where are we gonna go? Somebody suggested Arizona. It's supposed to get up to like 107 in Arizona. I don't know about that. But you know, if San Diego is on fire, doesn't look like you want to go west. Where are you going to go? East? I mean west. It looks like the fire's coming out east. That's a lot of smoke, you guys. Okay, so people leaving the big cities. Yeah, people are leaving the big cities. The people leaving the big cities are the people with enough money to leave the big cities. You know, if you've ever been in any of these big fires, it gets to the point where you really have to like stay inside, because where are you going to go? Okay, so people are leaving the big cities to avoid protests. Thinking, well, possibly these protests could become violent and it could be unsafe. After the protests, we could have a giant spike in the COVIDs. I know a lot of people don't think the COVID is real, but I'm pretty sure it's real, because we know at least two families that we know who have had it. And one of those families, the grandmother died. She was old. Another reason people are leaving the big cities is because now they can work remotely, so they can move to a suburb that's cheaper, which makes sense as well. You get more money. I mean, you pay less money for just as nice, if not nicer, of a house with less, risks. So, are people leaving big cities? I think so. I really do. A lot of people have more than one dwelling. So it could be that they're buying a second dwelling outside of the big cities. It could be that too. Okay. So the main reason they would be moving out of the big cities at this time is to avoid the heat too. This is totally unpleasant. This has been going on for a month, and we can expect it here until November. And God knows how many fires we might endure. The fires always come in September, you guys. So now number two, people are leaving the big cities, but number two is we should prepare for evacuations. For the reasons people are leaving the cities, if they should become dangerous, if there should be disasters, we would want to be prepared to leave the cities. So for one thing, we should have gas, you know, enough to get out of here. Okay, so now they say the gross domestic product is down 32.9%. The stock market is okay, but that's because the big investors are investing in the stock market, because where do you put your money? What they're saying, and I agree with this, is the little guy should get out of the stock market. I think that's a good idea. I think the markets are being manipulated. Also, real estate. One of the big problems is real estate are these commercial buildings, these big ones. And so possibly there could be defaults on that end, which would cause big problems. Right now in housing, a lot of people can't get housing. There's just no houses available, but shortly that might change. At the end of the month, we're having an end to the $600 relief checks. The student debt relief ends, and the mortgage relief ends. The mortgage relief, the $600 a week, the student debt relief, and another thing they're saying is don't think your money is so safe in a pension. There's like, the pensions, I think the problem with them is they've been hyperinflated. There's not real money there. My husband had a printers union, and they basically just said, sorry, you don't have any money coming in. So I want to talk about two things we might be seeing, and these are kind of really not good things. We're going to see a widening gap between the rich and the poor. I mean, it's just going to be like rich and poor, right? And I think we're seeing that already. If you are poor, it would be very difficult to become rich, especially if this real estate is hyperinflated, which I think it is. Okay, and now we're going to see a widening educational gap. They're going to be the rich people very well educated and the poor people not so well educated. I remember a time, I'm 66, when you were graduating, you could very well be graduating from high school at an 8th grade level, and I could see that happening again. I hope not. Okay, so now to talk about deflation. Okay, in the hair business, I've actually seen it deflate. In deflation, there's less of a demand and the price goes down and down, and so basically your product is valueless. And in the hairdressing trades, we have cut hair, and it wasn't that long ago, for $3 a head. I mean, when I first started when I was 19, it was $3.50 a head, but then years later, it was back at that at the lower end shops, and that could happen again if people don't have sufficient money to pay. That's a bad deal. How they got around it is they pay you 70%. Barbers do that as well when deflation hits. There's just no spendable income. People don't spend. Hair and nails, restaurants. The restaurants have pretty much been messed up. Daycares have been pretty much messed up really bad. And so then the women also have to make sure the kids get their homework and school done, which is very disruptive too. And then they're not always the best equipped to do it. And so that leads us to what may happen is everybody will have to be vaccinated to really open things up again. So now this weekend, you know, if we have these protests, that's how we could spread the second wave around. That's not going to be a joke. There was a protest, I posted on my Instagram. There were protests organized in 22 cities, and San Diego was one. Thank God it wasn't here in this city, but that doesn't mean some won't be coming. And so they were very disruptive here. So I think we could see deflation. One of the places I think I see deflation is in clothing. You know, where would you like to go? Walmart or Walmart? No, Walmart or Target. In Target, I think I see inflation. In Walmart, it's pretty constant. One of the things that I think, and I never thought, where deflation, where stuff just has absolutely no value, is thrift stores. One of the thrift stores I go to does sell stuff for $1, and tell you the truth, that's all it's worth. So in deflation, the demand is way down because people don't have money to spend. And you can't keep dropping the price and dropping the price. It is just a huge problem. It is just really, really a bad problem. And we could see that in all kinds of things. I can't think of any right now off the top of my head where things were just dropped and dropped. You know, one of the places I think deflation hit was like in, what is that? There was a clothes store, and it was a cheap clothes anyway, and they have gone bankrupt. Okay, so what we would want to do is we want to keep our eye on Europe and see what is going on. So, are we seeing evidence of a recession in Europe? Yes, we are. We are seeing low demand, low prices, and then that leads to low supply. So when you're seeing these low supplies in your grocery store, it's because there's a low demand because of deflation. Like in the store I go to, there's no cream corn, and it just occurred to me that it might be a good idea to buy some, so I'll be looking for that. Okay, so now we get to inflation, and I think anybody could see inflation Inflation is where they print more money and then things go up. The price of everything goes up and your money is not backed by gold. That's what we have. All these stimuluses being printed, those will have to be paid back at some point. That's inflation. And like today, you know, those little packages of $1 sausages, they were $1.48, now they're $1.56, so that's a 56% inflation, getting up close to 60%. And the bags of fruit, like apples and oranges, were $5, and the potatoes were, I think, $3.99. So we're seeing, when we look at inflation, one of the first places it's going to hit is food, so we want to look at the food. And then, you know, housing as well. Okay, here in San Diego, basically, if you are a senior and you are on a fixed income, you are having just enough money to pay your rent, and they know it. And you have to go to the food bank and get that food. So, food, we're looking at food. Meat has gone up since May, 23%. Tyson food has gone up 3 times. Okay, so now for the stock market. Okay, so what they're having to do is they're having to put their inflated money somewhere, so they're putting it, where to put it? They're putting it in the stock market. So that is artificially propping up the stock market. So we're looking at real estate, we're looking at stocks, and we're looking at asset inflations. One of the things that I could see hitting is cars. I could see deflation and inflation hitting cars. People buying less cars, the demand is low, and they're saying it's like the tools from China. I don't think so. I think it's deflation. People just aren't buying, which is smart. We'll get into that in a minute. So let's see. We see inflation in gold and properties. Okay, unemployment went in June from 1.4 million to 32.92 million. So we're seeing a drastic increase in unemployment. So we would be looking at real estate, unemployment, stocks. So hyperinflation is when they just keep printing money, and that creates all kinds of problems. So then the price of things goes way, way up. Okay, so examples of hyperinflation are Venezuela, Argentina, and so what happens with this hyperinflation is that people can't buy the necessities and they start going without everything, like food. I heard in some of these countries, 3 meals a day is really a luxury. That's a bad thought, you guys. My straw is still frozen. The only reason it's halfway decent out here is I'm my fan on. Okay, so now we also have hyperinflation really bad in Lebanon. Food is way up, and they have taken meat off. This is bad. Meat off the menu for the army. Now that's bad. And in Lebanon, 1/2 of the population is living in poverty. Okay, if you don't have enough money to buy your necessities, which is a roof over your head and food, you're in poverty. A lot of people are in poverty and they've been poor for so long they just don't know that's what it is. Okay, so now, this is bad. The hyperinflation in some countries is so bad that the food baskets, you know, they give you a food basket, the price of those food baskets has gone up 200%. Africa, Zimbabwe has a 90% unemployment. So what we're seeing is a worldwide problem, not just the United States. So we're looking for two things, a spike in food and a spike in unemployment. So, okay, so now what can we do? Okay, the first most important thing is we have to stockpile food so that if we can get a roof over our heads, at least we have some food. It doesn't have to be the best food. It's time to go, well, you know, I need a special diet. Hey, let me tell you, that is bad. No meat for the army, or not enough food for your basic necessities. So whatever food you require, make sure you stockpile. I would suggest beans, rice, and vegetables. Also, out here, there's scanty cans. That's nerve-wracking. That's the number one thing. And number two thing is you've got to save money. Part of the problem in these places is that the people don't have any money saved up. Okay, so now we're coming into this end of the employment, the $600 bailouts. They're saying we might get another stimulus check, but that remains to be seen. We don't have it yet. So whatever we do, we've got to save money. So what I would suggest is if you don't have any money, start doing the curbside. Okay, so today, just as an example, I showed you this in the last video. I found these pots and pans curbside. And so let's say I need $3 a day for food. I could go to the swap meet or do a yard sale and sell this. I got it free. Also, you know, you might think, well, you know, the can collecting is pretty lowly. If you're sitting in your house or if you're having to beg, I would suggest trying to get, you only need for $3.60 cans. So what I started doing is because, you know, it's fire season. This does not look good. I'll show you the smoke. I would keep water in these, and then at some point, if you need to, you can recycle them. When I go walking, I'm going to pick up the cans just to show you. And then I was able to locate these for 25 cents each, and I could recycle that. So I would need to find 60 of those items for $3. So, okay, so if you're just running out of money the last few days of the month, and you can figure out a way to find 60 cans, or you can sell a little curbside. I found big piles of clothes. I found all this furniture. I could sell this. You know, I sell costume jewelry. I sell clothes. I sell sunglasses. I sell watches. You know, anything that you might think, well, anything that you would possibly want, you could resell, right? So there's resale, and you can get started by curbside. There's can collecting. Just pick them up as you walk past them and recycle. So that is all I have today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and welcome to all the new followers. And there's a lot of good comments. They were really good. I was reading through them. Okay, you guys, please like, comment, and subscribe, and God bless you all.